So now we're going to begin our program formally with the first panel on the role of lawyers and judges in Nazi Germany, and that will be moderated by Stuart Lederman. Stuart is a friend of mine for the last 30 years. We started our law careers in some senses together at a firm Record Danzig in Morristown, New Jersey. Stuart is an experienced litigator, past president of the New Jersey Bar Foundation, and is the son of parents who suffered persecution at the hands of the Nazis. So, Stuart.
I'm the guy who gives you your ethics credits today, your live ethics credits. Thank you, John, David, March of the Living, Rutgers Law School, Paul. This is a very personal experience for me. Both of my parents are survivors, and I'm also the great nephew of a Jewish lawyer in the Thüringen region who did not survive and was persecuted by the Germans. We have to put this in some context, and Paul mentioned this earlier, and we were talking earlier that to some extent all of us today are talking to people who already know, who have a base of knowledge. And I think one of the things we hope that comes out of this program and similar programs and the work that Paul and John are doing is to spread the knowledge. Paul talked about the New York Times article, incredibly timely. For those of us in the United States, the article reported only 66% of the people, when you say what is Auschwitz, know what Auschwitz is, let alone the Nuremberg laws and everything that preceded Auschwitz. When you look at millennials, it's 47%. And so it's an obligation for all of us and all of you here, it's a challenge to take what your impressions from this experience, both yesterday and the program today, and go out into the community, go beyond, for those of you who are from New Jersey, to go beyond New Jersey. From those of you who are from the Ukraine, first of all, thank you for being here, but to spread the knowledge, because without that knowledge, without that continuing conversation, we may be here again. Look at what's happening in the world today. The panel today, in terms of the ethics, and we're going to hear from Richard in a moment, is where were the lawyers? Where were the lawyers in 1933, 34, 35, 36, 39? What happened to them? I can tell you what happened to the Jewish lawyers. The Jewish lawyers lost their right to practice their profession. And those who practiced their profession early on lost their rights even quicker, were often some of the first people put in concentration camps or in sanatoria. And those who tried were denied the right to represent their clients. But where were the rest of the lawyers? We were not dealing in a situation in 1933 where there were not ethics rules. Germany was quite advanced in that sense. Each of the states, Bavaria, the Thüringen region, the Prussian region, all of them had very specific codes of ethics that governed the practice of law. And they weren't exceedingly different from the rules of professional conduct that you all are governed by in New Jersey, or even some of the ABA model rules. And in fact, some of the rules that exist today in the RPCs and the ABA model rules were based on the early rules of ethical conduct in Germany in 1933. So what happened? Where were the lawyers? Why didn't they answer that call? And I hope those are some of the things we're going to discuss and learn today. But today is not a one-off. Today is probably going to be, not just the program this morning, but throughout the program, more thought-provoking. And it's an opportunity for you to then go back and ask yourself those questions. Where were the lawyers? Where were the lawyers then? And where are the lawyers going to be today in our society? Because we are all governed by those rules of ethics. We all have this obligation to protect the rule of law, as Paul said, to protect our clients, to recognize injustice not to do wrong. You heard Dr. Katz earlier yesterday the night before, talk about Mengele and what he did and how he violated the Hippocratic Oath. There were number of professions in Germany at the time. There were the doctors who participated, who violated their code of ethics. There were the lawyers who participated and ignored their code of ethics. There were accountants who had an ethical code, who violated their ethical code. Where were the professionals? If we don't rise up, if we don't protect the innocent, if we don't follow our code of ethics, leaving aside the moral code, but the rules that are established, where will we be? We know where we were in 39 and 33 when that didn't happen, but where will we be today? Our first speaker on the panel, you get to hear from Richard again, is going to talk about Nuremberg laws and how that impacted the role of lawyers and judges. Richard.